Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something real. How many times have you started something full of energy, full of fire, only to quit when it got hard? How many dreams have you buried? How many goals remain unfinished because you couldn't stay consistent? I'm here to tell you today, success isn't built on talent. It's not built on luck. It's built on consistency. The discipline to keep showing up day after day, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel like it. We've all felt it. The excitement at the beginning, the rush of motivation, the spark of enthusiasm. But then reality hits. The grind begins. Life throws obstacles in your way. And what do most people do? They pause. They step back. They tell themselves, I'll get back to it when things calm down, when I feel ready. But let me be brutally honest. That day may never come. There is no perfect moment. Waiting kills more dreams than failure ever will. The secret is this. Force yourself to be consistent even when you don't feel like it. Because consistency is more powerful than motivation. Motivation is like a spark. Bright, exciting, quick to ignite. But just like any flame, it fades. It burns out. Consistency is the fire that keeps burning. It's not flashy, but it's steady. And it's steady fires that light the way across the finish line when everyone else has given up. Motivation is a mood. It comes and it goes. Some mornings you'll wake up unstoppable, ready to conquer the world. But let's be real. That's not most mornings. Most mornings you'll be tired, sore, stressed. The weather's bad, your sleep was worse, and your mind is full of excuses. On those days, motivation is nowhere to be found. That's why you can't rely on it. Consistency doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're stressed, or if the world is against you. Consistency says, I don't care how you feel. We're doing this anyway. And that's where the magic happens. Because when you stop waiting for motivation and start leaning on discipline, you become unstoppable. Think about anyone who's ever achieved greatness. Athletes, leaders, innovators, artists. They weren't always motivated, but they mastered one thing, showing up. Every single day. No excuses. That's the difference. Not that their journey was easy, not that obstacles didn't come. They did. But instead of quitting, they pushed through. Instead of giving in, they built habits. And once habits are formed, consistency becomes automatic. At that point, skipping a workout doesn't feel like rest. It feels wrong. Taking a day off doesn't feel like relief. It feels like betrayal. Why? Because it's no longer something you do. It's who you are. And that right there, that identity shift, is what separates the ones who succeed from the ones who don't. But let's be clear. Consistency takes time. It takes discipline. And discipline isn't glamorous. No one's clapping when you wake up at 5 a.m. No one's applauding when you stay late to finish the work. But that's the point. Discipline isn't about recognition. It's about results. And just like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. The more you show up, the easier it gets to keep showing up. That's half the battle, just showing up. Most people never even get there. They quit before they start. They let their feelings control their actions. But you must be different. You must show up especially when you don't feel like it. Because those are the moments that shape you. Those are the moments that define you. It's easy to show up when it's fun, when the sun is shining, when everything feels perfect. But can you show up when you're exhausted, when you're frustrated? When it's raining cold and everything in you screams to quit? That right there, that's the true test. And when you pass that test, when you stay consistent through the pain, through the excuses, through the resistance, that's when you rise. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when success becomes inevitable. Show up day after day. That's how you build something extraordinary. That's how momentum begins. Each small action stacks on the last, and before you know it, you've created a wave of progress so strong, it carries you forward, and that momentum, it's powerful. It pushes you through the hard days. It reminds you that you've invested too much to turn back now. Quitting doesn't feel like relief. It feels like betrayal of everything you've worked for. But here's the truth about consistency. It's not just about time. It's about quality time. It's about being intentional. Because just going through the motions isn't enough. You've got to bring focus, energy, and effort, even on the days that feel like a grind. Consistency isn't robotic. It's relentless. It's not about repeating the same action mindlessly. It's about striving to get better, inch by inch, day by day, even when progress feels invisible. And that's another thing. Consistency rarely brings instant results. It's like planting seeds. You don't see fruit right away, but if you keep tending the soil, keep watering, keep nurturing, eventually the harvest comes. The garden grows, but only if you're patient enough to stay the course. Too many people quit right before the breakthrough. They plant the seed, don't see results fast enough, and walk away. Don't be that person. Success is a long game. It's not about quick wins. It's about sustained effort over time. That's why consistency beats motivation every single time. So, motivation might light the fire, but consistency keeps it burning. Motivation gets you started, but consistency keeps you going. Motivation is a feeling, but consistency is a decision. And that decision, showing up when you don't feel like it, is what separates dreamers from doers. It's what separates the ones who wish from the ones who win. Because let's face it, motivation will fade. The excitement will die down. The spark will dim. And when it does, the only thing left standing between you and your goals is your ability to stay true to the commitment you made to yourself. And that's discipline. The discipline to keep going. The discipline to build habits so strong they carry you through the toughest times. See, we often think greatness requires massive, heroic efforts. We think it's about giant leaps, about making history in one big moment, and that lie paralyzes us. We stand at the bottom of the mountain, staring at the peak, overwhelmed by the climb, frozen before we even take the first step. But the truth is this: success is never built in one giant leap. It's built in the tiny, almost invisible steps you take every single day. Those small actions, the ones that feel too insignificant to matter, are the very ones that add up to something remarkable. Imagine climbing that mountain, not by leaping, not by sprinting, but by putting one foot in front of the other, step after step, higher and higher. You don't always notice the progress in the moment. Some days it feels like you're not moving at all. But when you look back after weeks, months, years, you'll be shocked by how far you've come. That's the power of consistency. It's like a seed planted deep underground. For weeks, maybe months, nothing seems to happen. You water it, you nurture it, but the soil looks unchanged. Yet beneath the surface, roots are forming. Strength is being built. The foundation is being laid. Then one day it bursts through the ground. Not suddenly, but as the result of every small action, every patient effort. That's what success looks like. The people you admire didn't wake up one day at the top. They didn't stumble into greatness overnight. They put in the unseen hours, the daily effort, the relentless discipline. The world applauds their success, but they know the truth. The glory you see is built on the grind you didn't. And if you want the same, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop chasing the big leap. Start with the small steps. Stay consistent. Build momentum. Trust the process. Because in the end, success doesn't come to the most talented or the most motivated. It comes to the most consistent. The sacrifices, the setbacks, the failures, they're not the end. They're the foundation. Because every stumble, every late night, every early morning, they pave the road to success. Those small steps, they're not glamorous. Most of the time they feel tedious. Waking up early, staying late, repeating the grind day after day. It's not exciting. But that's where the magic lives, inside the repetition, inside the discipline. That's where momentum is born. One small step leads to another until it becomes a rhythm, a habit, a snowball rolling down the hill, tiny at first, then bigger, stronger, unstoppable. That's what happens when you commit. But here's the problem. Most people give up too soon. They don't see quick results, so they want shortcuts. They crave the easy road. But shortcuts don't build greatness. They build weakness. Real, lasting success is forged in persistence, in resilience, in the quiet willingness to keep moving forward when it feels like nothing is working. Because here's the truth. Small steps create big results, but only if you keep taking them. The moment you stop, you kill the momentum. You fall back to square one. And yes, it's frustrating when you don't see immediate results. It's tempting to say, what's the point? But that is the exact moment you must dig deeper. That's when you remind yourself why you started. You didn't begin this journey because it was easy. You began because you had a vision, a dream, a goal. That dream doesn't become reality by waiting. It comes alive through action, through small, consistent action. And that's the secret. Fall in love with the process, not just the destination. Because the process is where you grow. The process is where you're tested. The process is where you find out who you really are. Every small step is proof. Proof that you can. Proof that you're stronger than your doubts. Proof that you're capable of building something extraordinary. And when the big results finally come, and they will, you'll realize it wasn't one giant leap that changed everything. It was the accumulation of thousands of tiny steps that built the path to your success. Those steps don't just move you forward. They shape your character. They teach you patience. They forge discipline. They build a work ethic that will carry you for the rest of your life. Because success isn't about luck. It's about preparation meeting opportunity. And preparation happens in the small, quiet moments when no one's watching, when it feels like no one cares. So don't underestimate those small steps. Don't get discouraged when progress feels slow. Every step matters. Every step builds momentum. Every step lays the foundation for the future you want. You might not see the finish line yet, but it's there. And the only way to reach it is the same way anyone ever has, one step at a time. So stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. Take the step, then another, then another. Day after day. Because big results don't come from big leaps. They come from small, steady, relentless effort. And if you commit to that, then success isn't a question. It's inevitable. And when you hit that wall, the wall of exhaustion, of fear, of doubt, what will you do? Because that wall will come. For everyone. It's not just physical fatigue. It's not just mental stress. It's every fear, every excuse, every insecurity standing in front of you whispering, "You're not good enough." You can't do this. Turn back now. That's the voice of resistance. And resistance is universal. Every person chasing greatness has faced it. The difference between those who fail and those who win isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's the ability to break through that wall. And breaking through doesn't take brute strength. It takes grit, resilience, the will to keep moving when everything inside you screams to stop. That wall is built of doubts. What if I fail? What if I'm not ready? What if they're right and I don't have what it takes? But hear this, doubt is a lie. Fear is an illusion. Yes, fear feels real, but fear's only job is to keep you comfortable. And comfort, that's the killer of dreams. Nothing grows there. No progress lives there. Greatness lives outside of comfort. Success is born outside of comfort. Growth begins the moment you step through fear and into the unknown. So when the wall rises in front of you, don't turn back. Face it, break it, walk through it. Because everything you've ever wanted, your growth, your progress, your success, it all lives on the other side of that wall. The process cannot be bypassed. It's the grind, the day-to-day effort, the relentless consistency that lays the foundation for success. The outcome might look glamorous, but don't be fooled. It's the process that transforms you. Think about it. The outcome is just a moment, a single snapshot in time. That brief second when you finally achieve what you've been chasing. But the moment passes, the applause fades. And what remains? The process. The process is the long stretch, the journey full of highs and lows, failures and breakthroughs. It's the sweat, the sacrifices, the late nights, the early mornings, the tough choices, the obstacles you conquer. That's where you discover your true strength. That's where you develop skills, discipline, and resilience. The very things that not only get you to success, but allow you to sustain it. Because success doesn't belong to those who only want it. It belongs to those who show up day after day, week after week. Even when the result feels far away, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed, it's easy to stay motivated when the goal is close. But what about when it feels miles away? What about when progress is invisible? That's when the process matters most. Too many people quit because they don't see instant results. They grind for a few weeks, maybe a few months, but when the finish line doesn't appear, they walk away. They think they've failed. But they haven't failed. They've simply stopped too soon. Because success doesn't run on your timeline. It demands patience. It demands faith. It demands trust in the process. And that's why consistency is everything. Consistency forces you to commit to the journey. To show up even when the reward is nowhere in sight. To take step after step, trusting that the path will eventually carry you to where you want to go. Consistency isn't flashy. It won't impress anyone in the moment. But it's the key. The difference between those who dream and those who achieve. When you focus on the process, you grow in ways you never imagined. You build strength, discipline, and resilience. You form habits that will carry you for a lifetime. You start to appreciate the small wins, the quiet progress, the simple act of showing up. And you realize something powerful. The outcome is just a byproduct. The real prize is who you become in the process, because that's where the lessons live. That's where character is built. That's where you find grit, determination, and drive. Once you embrace the grind, once you fall in love with the journey, you become unstoppable. The outcome? It becomes secondary. What matters is that you kept going, that you stayed true, that you did the work when nobody was watching. And here's the beauty. Most people will only see the outcome. They'll see the success, the trophy, the recognition, but you'll know the truth. You'll know it was the countless unseen hours, the sacrifices, the setbacks, the persistence. That's what made it possible. And that knowledge will give you pride far deeper than the result itself. So the next time you get caught chasing the outcome, stop, breathe, remember, the magic is in the process. The process is what shapes you into the person capable of achieving the outcome. It prepares you, it equips you, because you can't control every outcome. Life is unpredictable. But you can control this. Your effort, your discipline, your consistency. You can control how you show up every single day. And when you do, when you give yourself fully to the process, the results will come. Maybe not when you expect. Maybe not how you imagine. But they'll come because the process never fails the one who refuses to quit. Don't chase the outcome. Don't lose yourself staring at the finish line. Chase the process. Chase consistency, because it's the process that transforms you. It's the process that shapes you into the person capable of holding the outcome when it finally arrives. When you fall in love with the journey, when you commit to the grind, the results will take care of themselves. But there's one word that cuts through all the noise. One word that separates the dreamers from the doers. Accountability. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting, but it's necessary. Without accountability, dreams remain just that, dreams. We've all been there, inspired, fired up, writing down big goals, mapping out the perfect plan, promising ourselves we'll change our lives. But then life gets in the way. Distractions, laziness, excuses, and slowly those goals we swore we'd chase, they get buried under a pile of tomorrows that never come. Why? Because when no one is watching, it's easy to let things slide. Easy to say a skipping today won't matter, but it does. Every day matters. Every choice builds or breaks momentum. Skip one day and it becomes two. Two becomes a week. A week becomes quitting. Not because you couldn't reach your goal, but because you didn't hold yourself accountable. That's the weight of accountability. It's invisible, but it's powerful. It's what pushes you forward when no one else is watching. It's what makes sure you don't just talk about commitment. You live it. And the truth? Accountability is hard because it forces you to confront yourself. It forces you to admit that no one else is to blame. Not your circumstances, not your excuses, not your environment. It's you. Your effort, your discipline, your consistency, your standards. When you fail to show up, it's on you. And that's tough to swallow. But that honesty, that raw truth, that's the doorway to growth. To hold yourself accountable, you must raise your standards and refuse to compromise them. They're not suggestions. They're not a when I feel like it. They're the line in the sand, the rule you don't break. Wake up when you said you would. Do the workout. Finish the project. Hit the target. No excuses, no exceptions. Writing your goals down is one of the most powerful ways to enforce this as a because when it's written, it's real. It's no longer just a thought floating in your head. It's a commitment you can see. Put it somewhere you can't avoid. On your mirror, your desk, your phone background. Let it remind you daily of the promise you made to yourself. Because here's the truth. Goals lose their power when you forget them. They fade. They become a someday. But when you see them every day, they demand urgency. They pull you into action. And accountability isn't just about yourself. It's also about your circle. Surround yourself with people who won't let you off the hook. People who call you out when you slip. People who demand the best from you, not because they want to control you, but because they care about your success. In the end, accountability is the glue. It's what holds consistency in place. It's what ensures the process keeps moving forward. And it's what guarantees that one day you won't just dream about the outcome. You'll live it. We all slip. We all face moments when motivation fades, when the excuses creep in. That's when accountability matters most. The people you surround yourself with can make or break you. If you're around those who make excuses, who justify mediocrity, it becomes easier to lower your own standards. When you're surrounded by people who push themselves, who demand discipline, who live by high standards, your game rises to match theirs. These are the people who remind you of the standard you set for yourself, who push you to rise when you'd rather sit down. Who refuse to let you settle for less than you're capable of. And it's not just about them holding you accountable. It's about you being accountable to them. Mutual respect, shared commitment. When others are counting on you to show up, it adds weight to your actions. It makes excuses harder to swallow. But at the end of the day, accountability begins and ends with you. You have to face yourself in the mirror and ask the hard question, did I do everything I could today? Did I honor the commitments I made to myself? If the answer is yes, good. Keep going. If the answer is no end, don't justify, don't rationalize. Take responsibility and commit to doing better tomorrow. That kind of honesty is rare, but it's what separates those who only dream from those who achieve. Because when you hold yourself accountable, something powerful happens. You start to trust yourself. You begin to believe that when you set a standard, you'll follow through. And that belief, that inner confidence, is what allows you to aim higher, to take on greater challenges, to chase bigger dreams. Accountability builds self-respect. It declares, my word means something. My goals matter. My standards are not negotiable. That's integrity. And integrity is what transforms talkers into doers. And still you will fail. Not once, not twice. Many times. Failure isn't the enemy. It isn't the end. Failure is a teacher, a lesson, a stepping stone. Every person at the top of their craft has fallen. The difference, they refuse to stay down. Failure hurts, it stings, it shakes your confidence, but pain is temporary, and so is failure unless you quit. When you fail, you have two choices. Let it convince you you're not enough, or use it as fuel to come back stronger. Failure forces you to confront your weaknesses. It shines a light on the areas you must grow. And if you can stand tall in those moments, if you can keep showing up when it hurts most, you will come out stronger than before. Consistency in the face of failure, that's the key. Anyone can stay committed when things go right. True character shows when they don't. When you've given everything and still fall short, that's the moment that defines you. That's where greatness is forged. Think about it. Some of the greatest blessings in your life came from what first looked like setbacks. Failure was never the end. It was redirection. A detour that led you to something greater. You are not your failures. You are the person who gets back up, who refuses to let failure write the ending. That's what separates those who succeed from those who quit. Every failure is a chance to adjust, to learn, to sharpen your edge. But only if you stay in the game. The people who achieve their dreams aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail and rise again over and over until failure itself becomes part of their success. Failure is not a roadblock, it's a building block. Every stumble is a step closer, every setback a setup for the comeback. So embrace it, use it. Let failure fuel you. Because failure, when faced with consistency, becomes your greatest ally. And that's the bridge between dreams and reality. Consistency, it's the grind, the daily choice. The discipline to show up when it's uncomfortable, when it's inconvenient, when it's hard. The people who win aren't the ones who had the easiest path. They're the ones who refused to quit, who stayed consistent when everything in them wanted to give up. So stay the course, stay committed. And so, stay committed, because your breakthrough is coming.